981. Good morning, Rotus, and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Zibby. Good to be with you, everybody else on this hump of the week.
Yay. All right. So we're talking about the Naira falling 42% since December 2023. Tell us about the performance of the Naira this time.
Yeah, so I think it was about 972 on the when we closed the year at the end of December. And so yeah, if you look at it from that level to yesterday, it closed at 1,612. If my Let me check my chart. Let me check my chart. That should be about the figure. Yeah. 907 at the end of December. And so 1,621 as at yesterday. So today, of course, is the last day in July. So we'll see if we maintain 1,600 Naira levels to the dollar. So that's where we are. That's the 40 something percent depreciation of the currency.
All right, let's take a walk back to June this year. How has it performed from June till now?
Yeah, so we've seen a moderation in that depreciation. So from June, I mean, if you're measuring from June the 3rd, was like 1,476. So taking it from there to um July, the end of July, so you're looking about a depreciation of about, I think about 8% or so. So you know, the movements in the currency. So I think we went from about 900 levels December. January, we closed January about 1,455. You know, it was a big jump there. From then on, we're in that 1,400 level. And I think moved to 1,005 February, came back down to 1,002 in April, beginning April, climbed up to 1,4. So we've been treading water around those 1,4 levels. And then from June, we hit 1,5, and then now towards this end of July, now we're at 1,6. So that's been the movement of the currency so far.
What are the triggers that we're observing that have impacted the currency this month? I mean, August is literally 24 or less than 24 hours away.
Yeah, well, I guess for people like you that have money, I keep traveling. I know how people are traveling this summer. Every time people travel, they demand foreign exchange. So I think summer travel is part of it. School fees for those schooling overseas, that's coming due September, around that time, October. You've also got, you know, manufacturers and so on that are trying to place orders for goods that are going to be sold towards fall and maybe even going into the Christmas period. So yeah, it's a combination there of those factors that we're seeing leading to, you know, demand pressure on the currency that's, you know, that we're seeing that depreciation.
Mm. All right, well, we're listening to Business Express on Smooth 98.1. We're talking about the Naira's journey from December up until now. So let us know if you've got any thoughts, questions, really. 0809 440 981. That's the WhatsApp number. And you can also tweet at Smooth 981. Hashtag is Business Express 981. You can catch the live stream or even post a comment on that live stream on our YouTube channel, Smooth 981. The Minister of Finance says the government will issue USD denominated bonds in the first tranche of 500 million, and this August, of course. So, who exactly are they targeting?
Well, he's talked a lot about how there's you know, so many dollars in domiciliary accounts in the country. The estimates are 25 to 30 billion. Um, and so that's been rising because I think, you know, people are stockpiling dollars and holding on because of the issue of the Naira weakness. He's also looking at diaspora Nigerians that are overseas as well. So they've been talking about this since Wale Edun was appointed as the Minister of
Mm.
Finance. He really does feel that they can attract those unlock the money in the dom accounts here and also get diaspora Nigerians and any other foreign investors who are interested in plunking down those dollars to get take advantage.
All right. So, what efforts are in place to actually defend the Naira?
Well, Um, I think so if they get FX inflows from this particular bond offer, then that's, appreciate, the reserves would appreciate, and that hopefully defends the currency. But I think more I mean, this is a bond, you got to pay it back after a while. So all these dollars you've collected, you got to pay out interest and then return people's principal to them. So that's a temporary measure. A more permanent measure is what the country does to sell um, natural resources that bring in USD. So it's oil, right? So the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, was addressing journalists and said anywhere from 2 to 3 months that they will end this oil theft matter. And so that is more long term. You end oil theft and you can hopefully, I mean, there's still the challenge of aging infrastructure, dilapidated pipelines and stuff like that. And then vandalism, right? Because you're not necessarily, yeah. So if you get past that, then you now are on your way to pumping, hopefully getting to back to over 2 million barrels a day. And then you now have more sales of oil and you bring in more foreign exchange, and that puts you in a better position to be able to defend the currency.
All right. Um, Speaking about oil theft, is this something that can actually be realistically controlled, ended in 3 months?
Yeah, considering that we've been fighting this thing for quite a while, you would forgive people like myself for taking a wait and see approach or even being outright skeptical, because recent history shows that, this is not the first time. I mean, they made a big deal of army people going through the Niger Delta. There were cameras there, pictures taken. They're really, puffing out their chest and talking tough. But, that was a while back and nothing really has changed. I mean, he does sound like he says it's going to be a team effort. A lot of people are going to be involved. So I can only hope, Zibby, we can also keep our fingers crossed. 2 to 3 months is October, so that's not very far. So
No, it's not.
we will all be here having this show in October to see what and I think further than that, it's the oil, the production numbers will tell us if they've indeed curbed it. So it probably won't be until a November, a December, a January, where we can review oil production numbers to see whether things have changed for the better.
Right. All right. Let's talk about purchasing power. Second half of the year is beginning. A lot of Nigerians have seen that diminish in the past 6 months or so, over the past 6 months. How can Nigerians actually protect their purchasing power from here on?
Yeah, so it's US dollar securities, it's holding dollar cash. Because the reality is just that inflation is eating up your purchasing power. So you've got to look at for FX in order to protect yourself. That's just the way to go.
Okay. Now, minimum wage finally approved, 70,000 Naira. Should these discussions be held at the state level?
I think they should. April 29th, the Edo State government, run by Godwin Obaseki, announced 70,000. So that was months ahead of the approval at the federal level of 70,000. May the 1st, on May Day, Workers' Day, the governor of Cross River, Bassi Otu, he announced 40,000, saying that's in line with the realities of the state. So every state has its own unique circumstances. So I do think that the minimum wage discussions should be held at the state level, because when the 30,000 was announced, how many states were able to pay? So I still don't see a 100% compliance with this 70,000.
So what should the government's priority actually be? I mean, as we're moving into August at this point.
I think it's got to be about food prices. They say they want to halt import duties on bringing food into the country so they can try to reduce prices. So I think right now that is the main thing. You're coming up before you know it, Christmas will be here. We saw what happened during the Eid celebrations. People weren't able to buy rams because they were so expensive, or people, we'd have less rams being sold, multiple people buying one ram and sharing it. So you really got to make sure that that prices for food are moderated going into this. So I expect that, well, they should be focusing really hardcore on trying to get prices down because, once Christmas comes again, things are going to shoot up in the final quarter of the year.
I've got a question via WhatsApp, and it's coming from Ernest, and he says, "How can we increase foreign exchange inflow from crude oil sales if the president is approved selling crude oil in Naira to Dangote
Yeah,
or
that's a
the
great
Dangote
question. So
refinery?"
it's only a portion of our oil sales that will be going to the Dangote refinery. We're still going to be exporting oil to outside of the country. So that they're trying to do what they can to you know, essentially trying to save on foreign exchange by giving oil to Dangote refinery, having him refine it, and then not having to import that portion of it using foreign exchange from overseas. So we still will be selling. And then by the way, I expect that the Naira sales of crude oil will be at an exchange rate which should reflect the sales of crude in dollars. So if you sell in dollars, convert to Naira, the idea is, I mean, to my mind, that you will now get the equivalent amount. So your revenues aren't hopefully not impacted depending on the exchange rate.
All right. Quickly, Yinka says, "How we spend so much time discussing FX and not commiserate in-country manufacturing and production? It's just, well, interesting." Fine
Yeah,
Oluboroko says, "Nigeria's problems are just too many. However, they are problems that can be overcome with time." All
agreed, agreed,
right.
agreed, agreed.
Well, thank you for listening. Thanks for sending your messages through. And thank you, Rotus. That's it for
All right,
Business
thank you.
Express.
Thanks, Zibby. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Take it easy.
All right, do stay with us. There is a lot more to come on the Smooth Breakfast.